I've included 3 photos of my yard that were taken about 22 years ago. I've done this to show you that I enjoy developing my yard's garden. Next up is my technique for planting the handsome Podocarpus in rocky soil. Okay, so there's some of the original soil. I'm going to cut that with a compost that I make roughly at about 40% in the rest of the soil. It's pretty good in spite of the rocks. There's a lot of silt in it. It's ancient, it's old, but I think it's going to work out good. Here is the Podocarpus, and there's the hole. You can see it's easily twice the size of the 15-gallon drum. It's 14 inches high, and if you look closely at the yardstick, you can see here, it's the numbers running up. It's roughly at about 18 inches, 19 inches, you know, given with what is level. I'm going to mix the bottom here. I'm going to put in some phosphorus and some ironite to help keep the tree green. I'm going to use, this is super phosphate 46. There's 0 nitrogen and 0 potassium. And this is roughly a 1/4 cup. That's all I'm going to do. Sprinkle it in there. I'm going to sprinkle in my ironite. So ironite is 1% nitrogen, which is really low, 0% phosphorus, 1% potash. Calcium is 8%, sulfur is 5%, and the iron is 20%. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle in about the same, about a 1/4 cup. Now I'm going to turn this into a soupy mix. Then I'm going to get the hole nice and wet. It'll really help the tree off. I'll just put it in dry. You see that I have rocky soil. I'm on an ancient riverbed, and it really takes a jackhammer to work through the soil and put in plants. So if you live in a place where you've got a lot of rocks in your soil with a matrix of silt and sand, you know, you might want to consider a jackhammer. They actually work very well. So we're going to go ahead and let that dry out, and I'm going to go mix my soil now, the regular earth with my compost. So now I'm going to add my native soil. These 2 barrels are from the earth, and then I got about I want about a 30% ratio of the compost in the wheelbarrow. I'm going to sprinkle and salt in just a 16-16-16, meaning 16% nitrogen, 16% phosphorus, and 16% potassium. Just slightly salt it a little and mix it up. And now I'm going to bring the hole up to 14 inches to put the tree into the ground, and I'll continue mixing soil to backfill the hole and get it all as level as possible, keeping the root ball at the surface, maybe fractionally higher, not deeper, but fractionally, like maybe a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. So you can see that the root ball is really good on this particular tree. You can see it's coming out of the pot, so that means it's going to stay together. It's a cautionary tale. Sometimes if you put a tree in that's too young and you just assume that it's got a full root ball, it might break apart on you. So this one looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and give it some good taps. Hit the bottom. There we go. We're going to go ahead and put it in the ground now. So there's my dog inspecting the hole, and my other dog inspecting the hole. I guess it looks pretty good to them. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in now with my 30% compost and 70% native soil mix. My yard is on a slight slope. Zoom in on there really close. You can see that it's flush with the lower part of my yard, but the upper part, if it rained, it would cave in on top of the root ball. So I'm going to install a tree ring, and I'll go ahead and show you that finished product. I've got the tree ring installed. Here's the root ball. It's about 1/4 of an inch above the soil. You notice that the tree ring is definitely going to retain that soil in the back so it doesn't run off. And what's also nice about a tree ring, you drop your fertilizer in there, you know, for this tree I'd say about every 3 months. But that ring retains a lot of water, so you can really lay it in there and it goes right down onto the roots, which is really nice. Recommend a tree ring for new trees. For the finishing touch here, for plant transplant shock, I really want to protect this Podocarpus. So I'm going to add vitamin B1. It's chelated and ready to go. I'm going to put in a couple tablespoons into this 2-gallon watering can. And there we go. And we're going to go ahead and finish it off. And I'm going to go ahead and pour this right on where the root ball is, so I can get as much as I possibly can to it. Of course, it's going to run off where there are no roots, but some of this is going to move directly down into the roots. And it's good for root development, but most importantly, it is going to really help this thing from any stress that it's under. You know, vitamin B1, in my opinion, there's some people that have other opinions about it, does help mitigate plant stress shock. Okay, so that's a couple of gallons worth. Hey, thank you for watching. If you have any experience with the Podocarpus Henkelii, please let me know in the comments.